everything. We're doing pretty good, actually. I think the fact that I hit crazy traffic was not on time and all of that, but I started on time, which is cool. So I'm thankful for that. This next time I'm not going to schedule a photo shoot to end an hour before when I'm in downtown Austin, an hour before we're supposed to be going. Anyways, today is our live bonus Q&A. Wow, that probably looks crazy to people that are on social media as far as that goes. Anybody got any questions for me? Any questions for me about your business? One thing that I was trying to facilitate last time we were doing this is the 6 steps. Obviously, we need everybody to start doing the 6 steps. Step number 1 is your niche or topic. It seemed like everybody was having a really hard time even like expressing in words what their topic or niche was. You know, what's your vibe? Who are your people? How do you want to help them? What do you do? You know, this is kind of like it encompasses that. If you can't explain that, you don't have a business. Okay. That's not this. I don't think that, David, is that disrespectful to say?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it is either. But I had some people saying it was very disrespectful to say, like, if you can't figure that out, it's not a business. Got a bunch of emails from people saying, like, how dare you tell me that, like, and I'm like, okay, sorry, it must have triggered something there on you. Not you, David, but other people, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that people just are defensive right off the bat sometimes.
Yeah,
Or
and
uncomfortable.
I'm working on not putting people on the defense a little bit.
Because I think that people are feeling insecure already. You know what I mean? Like they're afraid to start a business. You know what I mean?
Right,
and they don't know what they're doing. And then they feel this sense of just like, you know, there's a lot of fear and insecurity, I think, that comes
the
with
urgency, the fear, the insecurity. Yeah, exactly. So
it's like people who want to do it, who, you know, are afraid for a variety of reasons, like me. You know what I mean? Like I have fears about doing it.
totally.
And I think that's one of the bigger issues that a lot of the people in the client accelerator face. I think really when it comes down to it is like pushing the button.
Well, but this
and
is
being like,
this
okay,
is
here we go.
this is open to the public here. A lot of people are not in the accelerator that this call was invited to. So what's up?
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought this was just the accelerator.
No, this is an open Q&A. I do these this is like open, my whole email list. And what's interesting is it's also a great example of the fact that, like, whenever I host an open Q&A, very few people show up to an open Q&A simply because they're either intimidated, they're scared. I mean, my hat says the Intimidator on it right here, but that's for Dale Earnhardt, the NASCAR driver. So I would say
that's hilarious.
I would say though, me and him got a lot in common when it comes to kind of how we approach things. I feel like you could be intimidating too, David.
I don't know. I mean, I think of myself as being a very kind gay, but
well, I think of myself as being a very kind person myself, but like sometimes kindness can intimidate people because they're like, wait, not everybody's like that.
Right. I think that, and it also has to do with physicality and the way, like what we were talking about the other day, like
body language.
You know, sometimes you need to be more, you know, aggressive as a coach, and sometimes you need to be more compassionate, like the feminine.
Yeah,
the
we had such a great combo about that.
Yeah, and it is important to be able to implement both, and I think it also gives some variety when you're presenting to kind of go there and then to pull back and also have the compassion.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that's a great conversation even right there. Since nobody's asking any questions, I mean, we can just even talk about that push-pull kind of like a little bit of aggression, kindness type of a thing. I think that being too passive, scared, timid, all of that, or too aggressive, too like bah, bah, bah in your face, both of those have negativity. Like they're not effective.
Yes. And it also depends on your audience and who you're talking to. Me, I'm working with gay men specifically. Yeah. And a lot of gay men are very sensitive. So if I'm too, if I'm too aggressive, they're
Yeah,
like, back off, you know what I mean? So there's
totally.
also there's a sensitivity and compassion that I have to bring into it because I
Yeah,
understand what that feels like. And I think it's about kind of feeling out your audience and knowing who
totally.
they
Yeah,
are.
for sure.
And especially if you're a
That
member
takes
of your
time
own
too.
audience. Yeah.
That takes
But
time. It's not always immediate as far as that goes to
yeah,
figure that out.
exactly. And I think that even for myself within the gay community, for example, I'm kind of worried about getting attacked by my people for putting out the
Oh
work,
yeah, yeah,
especially because my work is about shame and internalized homophobia, and it's kind
yeah.
of, it's
Well,
like it's a mirror.
let me give you some encouragement, David, which is so interesting because like I come from a background that was just like the most homophobic possible, you know,
Yeah,
cr- highly conservative Christian background, um, that was like, I mean, like you don't even have friends that are gay type of a thing is what we were taught growing up. And then I go out away from the church world, and guess what? All of my best friends were usually uh gay, part of the gay lesbian community. And I'm like, I get along so well. And they're like, you're like the coolest straight guy that we know. I'm like, well, yeah, because I don't give a shit. So
yeah, which is great. Actually, to be really honest, when I first came into the Klein Accelerator, and because I felt like there was this religious sort of undertone, or there were a lot of religious people, for a second
probably
I was like,
both.
oh no, this is like I'm going to be rejected in this community.
No,
But then but my work is really about how do you as a gay person enter all communities and just
there
be
you
yourself.
go.
So it's
There you
like,
go.
so I'm
That's
like,
great.
I have to show up and do the work
That's
myself,
great.
which this is the work. It's like an
Well,
existential experiment.
that's a great segue to like just my passion is helping people. How do you take who you are authentically and go into places that might reject you, and not because you're looking for rejection, but just because it's like it's where you literally you feel inside of you a burning desire to have an impact. And then how do
Right.
you attract the people that you can have an impact with and kind of repel away from you the ones that you're not like. Here's the thing, like a lot of the mean people, I try to really repel them away very quickly.
Right.
I've done a really good job of not having like mean people in our accelerator.
Yeah, you
And yet
have.
we have a lot of people that would say would be traditionally conservative, even right-wing Christian values that are in the accelerator program, but
Yeah.
like they understand like that, okay, you can't like be like Donald Trump all the time.
Right. Right.
You
Right. Right.
know, and by the way, like I actually look at even some of the more recent stuff in politics all the time, that I'm like on all the different candidates, I'm like, okay, that was smart, that was stupid, that was smart, that was that, because it teaches me in marketing as far as that goes. It teaches like, okay, this is good. I I think like everybody just wants to know that they're safe, that they are protected, that the people they're around are fun, and that they're not, that they don't have ulterior motives to
Right.
hurt them.
Yes, exactly.
You know, like
And that's a big part of it.
if we just sum up even in politics, but also in relationship and in marketing, let's segue that right back to marketing. If we want to grow as coaches, we need to show that we're fun loving, that we're creating a safe space for everybody, that we're also willing to call out the stuff that's not working,
Right.
that we're willing to say, hey, okay, that probably won't get you the result you're looking for. Because if
Right.
you're in a coaching group that is not willing to say, okay, that's probably not going to work for you, this probably will, maybe we need to adjust this just a little bit, you got to make sure that you have people that will point out what is not necessarily going to produce the optimal result long term, or it's a waste of time to be in a coaching group like that.
Right.
Another
Exactly.
thing is this, like I look at the term coaching. A coach needs to, by definition, point out what the other person is not doing right, but do so in a way that connects to get them to pivot and change the behavior.
Right.
And what I find is that it's such a balance, because like I don't like people to tell me what I'm doing wrong. I don't like people to tell me what I need to do. I don't like people to point out to me, hey, this sucks and you need to change this. And yet, the best coaches I've had, they know just how to speak my language to do just that at the right time, not to serve them, but to serve my best interest.
Exactly. Yeah. And to challenge you. I mean, you expect that from a coach. And it's really, I think,
Yeah.
about asking the right questions so that the client, the person that is in front of you, they're coming up with the answer
Yeah.
as you're leading them into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when it's their idea and they come to that moment themselves, it's more powerful than if you just tell them that it's
Yeah,
what it is.
totally.
You know what I mean? I think.
Totally. Anyways, we got some people. What's up, Carol? We got Claire here. This is our bonus Q&A session. David's actually in our accelerator program. He's been in there for a while now, and we're just so thankful and grateful to have his presence with us. He's just one of the most amazing human beings on the planet that I've ever just had a chance to talk to on Zoom. We've never met in person, but just on Zoom. So thank you just for who you are. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. I
Yeah.
love being here. I love it.
Yeah. Awesome. So, but what we want to do is I want to make this an open time to answer questions when it comes to how to get clients, how to create offers, how to use Facebook ads, how to, whether it be related to the 6 steps, like I said, finding your niche, your topic, what you're doing, who your people are, what vibe you help people with, what do you do, how do you serve people. You gotta at least have a baseline as to what realm you're in as far as that goes. You might not even have clarity on this, but like, what realm are you in? Is it mental health? Is it spirituality? Is it sales and marketing? Is it dog groomers? Like, you got to know like what realm you're going to operate in. If you don't understand that, there's a series of questioning that you could go through with ChatGPT to help you with that. And I might be able to walk some people through that on here. Unfortunately, I've never actually had to walk anybody through that has come through our program, because most people have an idea. And if they don't have an idea, generally it's because of fear of missing out, fear of loss, fear of making the wrong decisions, fear of it not working out, or fear of the unknown. And so fear really becomes the common factor as to what prevents people from moving past step number 1, is just it's fear. And really, fear is also what prevents us from putting ourselves out there as far as that goes. Worry, fear, anxiety. Fear can also manifest as pride, ego. It can manifest as I'm way better than all these other people, so I'm not going to lower myself down to that level to market in this way as far as that goes. So Carol says, I help families and teachers toilet train their toddlers. That's awesome. We're about to start doing that here with Little Halston as far as that goes. Got any advice for me, Carol?
Yeah, I have tons of advice for you.
Oh man. Stop being a douchebag, maybe?
Oh, I mean, that's exactly what I do is with I do calls with families, and
I
I
know.
test to see where they're at, meet them where they're at, and come up with a customized plan,
Yeah.
your needs.
I love, I got a question for you. Is it wrong for a dad to hang out and play with his son all day long?
No, not at all.
Is that dangerous to his psychology?
As long as you bring structure,
Okay.
and
Interesting, because I only play with him unstructured.
meaning like if you're going to be with him all day and having a day, he needs structure in his life.
Okay, yeah.
He
That makes
needs-
sense. That makes sense. Mom is better at the structure side of things.
Yeah.
I kind of like go real, like we just explore and like kind of find stuff as far as that goes. I've had people tell me that as a dad, that playing with my son without structure is harmful to him, and that my wife needs to be the one doing the more exploring stuff. And I don't know
I
where
don't
that.
know if that personally, I don't know if that makes a difference. Who's who?
Okay. Yeah.
In my opinion. So
Okay, and that's what I wondered, but it was certain people that have like been trying to give me advice about parenting, and they're just like, you need to stop playing with your son the way you are. You're gonna hurt his brain. And I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that. Like,
yeah.
I never had a dad, so my mom was both for me, and
Yeah.
I'm learning how to be a dad. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
cool.
And that's exactly what I help families with, is how to
Cool.
how to do all that,
Very
you know,
fun. There's
to
such a
me.
need for that.
Yeah, they're often coming to me for the toilet training aspect of things, but overall, I'm helping them how to parent, how to give guidance,
Yes,
is how to bring, you know, every single person's like my child so stubborn. Uh,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
that is literally every single family that comes to me. So
yeah.
how to create,
Well,
you know, how to
I think
challenge.
my wife and I encourage his stubbornness.
Yeah,
We kind of like it. We think it's fun and we like,
yeah.
because
As
we're
long
both
as
like
you're
that. So
being positive with him and
yeah, we are. We love it. He was having a little bit of trouble last night, and but we were just like, how do we just stay super joyful even while he's having a hard time? So
yeah. So let me ask you a question.
yeah.
So knowing where the stage where you're at and that you're just starting, you really don't know what to do, what would be helpful for you? What would you be looking for as
Good point. Yeah, good point. What I love that you said was you got specific with that families come to you for the toilet training.
yeah,
Okay, but it's really you unpack it with the parenting side of things. Like
yes,
how can they parent better? And that goes deep into like the personal development as parents as far as that goes. I think we haven't started the toilet training yet or even explored that world yet. He's a year old.
yeah.
So
And that's where my niche is, and that's where I become very specific is
yeah,
my mission is to be educating families and why you should start now, why you should start earlier, why
cool.
you don't
Yeah,
need
we
to
probably
wait.
will like pretty soon. So
Yeah.
yeah.
How the reason why you don't need to wait until they're 3 years old.
I don't think we were gonna do that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me working in a classroom setting, I personally toilet trained 15 plus students at one time
Wow.
and transition them into underwear before 2 years old.
Amazing. That's
So
awesome.
that is my mission is to how to educate
That's
teachers.
awesome. I think right now I'm like just gearing up to go on our Disney cruise here this
Yeah,
week. So it's like, okay, let's think about this like after we get back from vacation and then we'll start exploring that side of things. We're excited to like take him at a year old on like to go around the world,
yeah,
literally, and experience something that most kids his age don't till later because he's very aware of his world around him and he he'll remember it.
yeah.
I think it's funny people say, oh, they don't remember things at this age. I'm like, oh, they definitely do. I know I remembered stuff at this age. So
But you just starting as a parent, what do you need? What would be
yeah.
helpful for you? What kind
Oh
of
gosh. I
looking for?
hadn't I hadn't really thought about that right now. Um I'll think about that and see if I come up with something by the end of this because I want to
What?
make sure we take some
Yeah.
people's questions as far as this goes. And I think that is, do you have any parents that you've worked with so far? Like they've started off?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So that's one of the things that I love to do is like in the beginning where I like to go with people is I'll take like because so I've had like 600 clients in the last year and a half go through our accelerator program and we've had thousands with when I was working with my mom. So I look at like what are the top areas that people are struggling when it comes to they train, say, families or teachers or families to toilet train their toddlers, and then what stage are they at along that journey? And so that's how I identified the 6 steps. So like I'm trying to like almost blend like your question with how I want to even help everybody else who's here
Yeah, I would
because
love
we can
that.
get specific as to like what are some of like the top 3 areas that say you notice that families that are trying to toilet train are struggling with like stages that they're at. So like I told you, stage we're at, um, we haven't even really thought about it yet. So
Yeah.
we're just exploring, okay, what does that world look like? We're helping him be structured with eating food every day.
Yeah.
Right now, because my wife breastfed him till a year old. So we did that and now we're moving him he's got 2 bottles of goat's milk a day, one in the morning, one at night, and then solid food for the rest of the day to transition him away from that.
Hmm.
So that's kind of the stage we're at. What I like to do is inspire the conversation with my clients, and so you could help me, like, what are like the top 3 stages people are at that are where I'm at, that they might benefit from the work that you do. And then you could build an offer around that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, that's exactly kind of what I'm going through right now in my business. I'm dividing it up into stages, kind of like, so to
Yeah,
answer your
yeah.
question, like meeting, like where you're at. My child's X years old. When should I start, or what should I start doing? So kind of, I want to create like a system of like, when your child's doing this developmentally, these are the things that you could start doing
Oh, that's cool.
to toilet training.
That's really cool. Yeah. And I think that helps identify like a sort of like oh gosh, it makes me think of like a personality quiz type of a thing.
Yeah,
Or like what range on this spectrum are you at?
yeah.
You know, like where, because it's so interesting, it's so multidimensional. It's like a Eisenhower matrix almost.
Mhm. Right.
Even.
And so the number one question I get, how do I start, or when do I start? Those are
That's
combined,
good.
right? So I think that
Good.
goes along with it. So that would be like to you,
That's
like,
great. When do I start potty training? Even
Yeah.
just, and so then that's where we get specific, building an offer around that.
yeah,
Sales copy, Facebook ads. Your child is your child a year old? You thinking about potty training? Maybe you think you're not ready for it.
right.
Take this quiz, decide, is it a good time for you now? And that's where quiz-based kind of like qualification is really helpful.
Yeah.
Which is fun. And there's a lot of really cool tools for that are out there.
Okay.
Typeform.com. This is one of my favorites. Have you seen
Yeah.
one of their video quizzes?
Not video, but I've used their quizzes, or I used their forums, their survey forums, or their forums.
Yeah, so they have a video solution that they branched it off into a different company. Video Ask. This is it. So Video Ask basically is Typeform, but it's a video of you, and they just get to click A or B as to like which direction to go. I've not used it myself, but I have, like, I just like, for what you're doing, this seems really cool. Because it's so personal and like non-invasive or intrusive to like your smiling face, just say, hey, would love to help you. Do you want to learn about this? Do you want to kind of find out what stage you're at? And you just sort of create this sort of branching conversation through video this way right here. And pricing, they're very affordable too, which is so cool. Very affordable as far as their pricing goes.
I actually think that the quiz idea is really great, especially for you, because just in your interaction with Jeremiah, you asked him in what way could he
That's exactly
use
it,
help.
yeah.
And you can teach them how they need
Yeah.
help in the quiz when they don't know. And then,
Yeah.
then they'll want the service because they'll be like, oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought about this. This is something I don't know about. Thank you so much for letting me know. And then they'll want to sign up for it. You know what
Carol,
I mean?
David's in my coaching program, my accelerator program. So him and I were talking initially here. And so he's got a lot of really great ideas on different stuff like this, which goes, I love this idea as far as that. David, do you have a way that you could see that she could take, kind of like identifying where they're at, what stages they're at, and identify this? And is there a way like that even you could use something like that in your business that you see, David?
Yeah, I think that part of it is, well, like, for example, in my business, it's about internalized homophobia and shame, which is subconscious, which we're avoiding dealing with because our ego can't handle it, right? So it's a really difficult conversation. So it's
let me pause you here, David, and I'm gonna try to I want to try to facilitate almost like a little bit of a masterminding here, where like the three of us are talking. So Carol, would you say that a lot of parents experience shame as well?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's interesting. That even like both of your demographic has it. Even for me, I think a lot of my clients experience shame that they don't understand marketing, they don't understand the technology, they don't understand, they haven't, or they have something inside of them, they haven't put it out there. So like it's so interesting, the shame aspect. I don't talk about it that much, but it's very much in common with our clients that we help, is helping them not feel ashamed.
Right.
helping
And
them not feel ashamed of who they are.
right. And so that's
Yeah, and
something that I coach on and because so often parents are not realizing that they're shaming their child by what they're saying or how they're saying it. And so I coach them on the language and how and staying positive and in like the energy of it all. And so that becomes powerful when we could change that.
Yeah, that's amazing. What are some of the ways that you help with that?
Kind of go through some role playing a little bit. I do
Okay.
all my calls with video. I like my calls with like via Zoom.
Okay.
Um, so kind of just having them kind of like when they're like telling me they're frustrated or something happened or what's going on, I try to have them like to talk about it and rate their frustration levels and
Okay.
um
So again, that would be interesting. What I like to look at is the initial stages where you first meet a client to decide if they're a good fit or not. You might be able to implement into a quiz or a funnel or some way of doing that to direct them to different places to qualify them and then to identify are they a good fit to work with you at that point. And I think there's a lot of really cool, easy to use tools as far as that goes. So
yeah.
all right. Did you have any specific questions, Carol, as far as on this process of offers or marketing?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm kind of right now, and I'm doing a little bit of rebranding and trying to um figure out how to restructure my business a little bit. So I'm in that beginning kind of stages of trying to figure out exactly what tools are needed, what's needed, what do I want to offer, having it right now I'm doing a lot of one-to-one coaching and I want to
Yeah,
more of mass coaching courses, group calls, do more mentoring and educating versus coaching.
that's awesome. That's very cool.
So I want to learn how your system could help with that, basically.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. The way that were you on the 3 days that we did last week?
I saw parts of it, but I wasn't on the whole.
Okay. Yeah, so we broke down a lot of like the ways that works. The recordings will be offline tomorrow, but we do have the accelerator program where we work with you through taking what you do and kind of, okay, here's your ideas. How do we amplify that by building offers out? And then how do we actually put that out there? Is it going to work? Again, I'm honest with people, like oftentimes when you launch something to the public with marketing, initially it probably won't work. But that's where we do the testing and then we go back and forth and we figure that out. And so that's really where I think the value comes in of why people work with me is that they get me and our community as sort of like a partner in their mission and what their vision is to help design the structure as far as that goes. So
Mhm.
that's what we cover as far as that goes.
Okay, cool. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Hey, David, question for you. Because I'm glad we got those. I almost want to like sit around and just have coffee with Carol and David right here, just like all day long. Um, question for you as far as in your business goes, what stage are you at when it comes to like the 6 steps? Have you gone through those? And remember, I just went through like step one. Step one is the niche. We want to start to figure out our realm, our lane. Step two is the sales copy. What's the actual written, the words that we use to describe it? We want to get specific as far as that goes. We also want to get specific as far as like what Carol said. I help with the potty training, but or as you said, toilet training. I call it potty training, but
Yeah.
the toilet training. But like it's really you're more helping people work with kids. And that's exactly what it is because it's like adults get frustrated with kids so quickly.
Yeah.
Um, and usually they're getting well, that's a deeper conversation. They're probably getting frustrated with their inner child, is what it is and the dialogue they haven't had with themselves. That's a big part, it mirrors a lot of like our own inner like like relationship with ourselves when we're dealing with children. And so when we can get specific as far as how we help people. But then, and I came up with this today. I was just at this photo shoot. I mentioned this right before. I was at this photo shoot, and and I knew people were going to do this because of how I set it up. They were going to ask me, well, what do you do? Because I basically laid out almost exactly like I have right here in the middle of that co-working space. I laid out all these video games and all of this right in front of me in the middle of this photo shoot. And there's like all these professional business owners and everything, like millionaires around me. And they're just like, what the heck? And they were like, well, what do you do? And I said, well, what I do and what I actually market that I do are kind of two different things. And I said, which one do you want to know more about? And and the one lady was like, well, tell me more about like what you actually do. And I said, okay, well, on the front end, I market that I help people get leads and clients and optimize their sales copy. But on the back end, I really help unlock people's creativity and how do they feel confident to show up so that they can attract the best clients and express themselves in the most powerful, effective way possible. And oftentimes the way that I do that is helping them realize that sometimes creativity comes by just having fun, doing things that are quote unquote taboo, like playing video games, watching Netflix, hanging out with friends, instead of like so focused on work and structured, like also giving yourself structured playtime. As adults, especially if they're over the age of 40 years old, I feel like and even me, I'm 36. I was always told like, no, like play only comes after you do your work. Well, that doesn't actually translate to results for me in my work. So I have fun throughout my working day. Even in the middle of the photo shoot, I had my game system open because I was feeling nervous and I was playing Ninja Turtles right there in between because it was like a group photo shoot thing. So in between, and then they would see me playing and then somebody would come up and say, hey, like, this is an interesting setup. What do you do? And they were there for the same photo shoot, and the two people, they were both coaches. They were both mentors. And so they were actually in the same industry that I help with. They were both over the age of 40 as well. And so they thought it was very interesting that they were actually my exact target demographic. And they were drawn to me to ask what I do by how I had it set up. And I was like, that's exactly what I show people how to do. How do you build trust within just a few minutes? And how do you do so with ethics, morals, and integrity on the internet through social media to close sales? And so it was all very interesting, but like, it's identifying what do I actually help people with? It really is unlocking the creativity. Because what I find is that a lot of times people are like, I don't know what to do next. My brain is swirling. I'm spinning. I'm stuck. And what I try to do is give people clarity or show them how to give themselves clarity as to what to do next so that they have the structure of, okay, your next step is let's write the sales copy. Let's make your Facebook ad. Let's create a ChatGPT account. Let's go create a graphic in Canva right now. Let's go record a video. And that's like the phases that there are. And so it's like, that's the structure is within the 6 steps. But then how we do that looks different depending on the different niches that people are in. So David,
it's really
you was like, what stage, because you've been with us for a while, what stage is your business at?
I've been in all the stages.
All the stages.
No.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you something. Something has evolved in what my thought about what I'm doing, because initially I was thinking that I'm creating a course for gay men who are in midlife and beyond. But now I'm thinking, because I communicate mostly through TikTok lives, or it's mostly where I get my people. That's where I get my clients. So I do only one-on-one work right now. But just because of the inspiration I've gotten from this group and the idea of a membership group, what I want to do is I want to take those guys on TikTok that are really serious about this conversation and bring them into a membership group where we meet once a week or twice a week for a question answer.
Yeah.
And my platform is called Gay on Purpose. The TikTok live is evolving into a podcast. The podcast will then get people into the membership group where they'll pay like $27 a month to be a part of it. And then through the membership group, I'll create workshops that are paid or courses that are specific to the needs of the group as we're discussing it. And then they'll know me better and trust me because they'll have FaceTime with me like we're doing here, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to just cold calling somebody. And then once I get the course up, I'll do the Facebook ad for the course and does that make sense? I'm not sure if I should do the Facebook ad to get
But
people
you
into the,
really, I tell everybody, you always want to start with actually writing out the language that you would use to market it first,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that works backwards from creating the course. And so I always, anytime we've ever built anything that's been successful, is we've started with how would we express this to get people to buy it first?
yes, yes, yes.
And
And I've written
then
copy
almost
for-
building out like an initial version of the Facebook ads. Even though we
Yeah.
might not use it, it's almost it's an inspiration to what we actually want to do, because I noticed that a lot of people, they make the mistake of, I'm going to record the course, I'm going to build out my structure, I'm going to build out my program. And that's great. And that really is, you want to have something to sell, but you want to brainstorm by coming up with your sales copy and your marketing and the marketing language. And that goes against what people think is best practices. It's
Yeah.
so against even traditional education to like, how would I express marketing this idea before I even have it? I'm not telling you need to market it before you even have it necessarily, but go through the exercise of working with ChatGPT through sales copy.
Yeah,
Go
what
through
the
the
heck?
exercise of just creating ideas for Facebook ads initially. So that's always what I do. Even before I record a course in our accelerator program, I think of how would I sell this course to somebody first? What do
Exactly.
they really want more than anything else? And so
Yeah.
then that literally creates this like perfect step. That's why the sales copy, it's one of the most number one areas I find that people are really resistant on, is doing their marketing language before they actually have a product. And yet, if they can kind of like realize that it's actually, that is the right way to do things, it creates this this sense of like ease and security and safety and even excitement inside of them. Because what I tell them to do is, I want you to create example sales copy that excites you about the course you're creating.
Right.
And so then
Right.
you come across talking about this course, and now you're creating it, and now you're motivated because you're driven by the excitement of, I know how to market this once I create something.
Right. Right.
And
You know,
that whole thing.
I get a little hung up because I have
I've done a lot of work on that actually. But sometimes
Yeah.
when I looked at the copy, I'm just like, it doesn't feel like me. And I'm like, does it
Yeah.
cheesy? It doesn't
Yeah.
seem dumb. Am I trying too hard? Am I being too pushy? Like, and then I'm like, how do I get it to sound like me? I feel like I do
Oh,
better
yeah,
if I just say it in a live, like when I'm
Well,
talking about
that's
it in a live.
exactly it. That's exactly the example that I love to take people through, is have the AI work on it. And then what I'll do, I do this all the time, by the way. This is literally part of my process. I'll go for a walk around my neighborhood, and I'll usually do it with my dogs, which is very interesting. It's better with my dogs than with not, because I'm like paying attention to them while I'm doing it. So it gets my brain off of the like focus of the sales copy. And then once they're kind of like walking and they're not like losing their mind because they're trying to go after the neighbor's dog or stuff like that, once they calm down, I find then I start getting ideas for my copy, and I just dictate it into my phone while I'm walking the dogs.
right.
And then I bring that transcript into ChatGPT and I say, okay, now massage this into some sales copy. And I go back and forth over the course of like a day or so. The whole process maybe takes me like 4 hours for a really, really good sales letter. To where, like, I
That's a
might use
great
ChatGPT for like 30 minutes by itself. Then I might go for a 30-minute walk. And I might do this at like 3-4 different times throughout the day. Like, okay, now I'm going to have lunch and I'm going to go do this. And it's like creating this sort of like just fun experience. That's way different than just, I'm going to sit at a computer and I'm going to write sales copy, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
That
it's
doesn't
like,
work for me.
whereas like, whereas for me, like, because I've never written copy that way. I've never seen anybody who's a good copywriter write copy that way. And yet that's how most people think they're supposed to do it.
Right.
And in fact, it's usually something way more fun and whimsical and playful. And then what
I
comes out of that is this incredible way of expressing yourself, that the way I describe it is like, how would you tell a best friend about this thing you're offering? How would you tell a close friend about it? And they would be able, and the reason why I like the close friend example is they would be able to call you out on the fact that it doesn't sound like you, versus if it does sound like you and it's written like in the tone like you would to a friend. That's great. So here's an example as well that I use for writing sales copy. I go to my favorite restaurant that I love to hang out with my friends at. I will literally watch a movie that I enjoyed watching with a friend. For me, one of my closest friends, again, it's gonna be my wife. Just she really is my best friend as far as that goes. So I literally, when I'm writing sales copy, I turn on the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, or I'll turn on Dune, or I'll turn on Dune 2, or one of the Star Wars movies that we went to the movie theater to watch together, because it gives me even that sense of community right there with somebody who's really
Yeah.
close to me.
Yeah.
And then I'll
It's
turn on some of our,
personal.
I'll turn on some music to like either Eric Church or Morgan Wallen, because my wife and I, we went to a concert with both of them. It's so funny. My wife really is my muse when it comes to how I do a lot of this. So because I love her so much and I love hanging out with her. Or I'll turn on stuff that I did while I was playing with my son. So my son loves like salsa music. So we listen to, he literally does. He'll turn the radio on to the Latin channel, and it'll be like, the and I don't know what the words are, but the beat is there. And so like I find like if I want to get into like a real playful vibe, like when I'm hanging out with my son, I listen to that music. And then when I do this, I'll go for a walk listening to that music, and the sales copy just starts coming to me.
Right.
Because I'm
That's a really
tuning
great
my
idea.
energy into the most fun, relaxed, community loving version of myself that I can be. And now what flows out of that is not, oh, I'm trying to make money with this offer. It's that I just want to express to those that I love what I can help them with.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I actually think that is really helpful for a lot of people in the
Yeah.
accelerator in terms of making a transcription of even a conversation with somebody on Zoom where
Yes.
you're fleshing it out. What is your business about? What are
Yeah.
you doing? What are you passionate about? Getting
Yeah.
really into it, and then utilizing your
Well,
own talking
that's
points
exactly
that come
what
out of
that's
flow.
exactly what I do. And that's stage like 10 for people. When they're like, because I have a lot of people, they're like, okay, my business was working and now I'm stuck and it's not making me money anymore. So I tell them, okay, take all the conversations you've had with people and filter them through AI, the transcripts, and have it find what the pain points are and what the goals are and how do we structure this, and even the vibe of the conversation. And then what it does is it starts tuning it. The AI helps us tune it towards the direction that we're aiming for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the AI. It's
Amazing, actually.
For some reason,
I've been playing with it a lot.
Zoom says that I'm talking in Spanish right now.
It's being translated.
That's
I
super.
actually have to go because I have a live session now
I'll see you. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I want to talk
Awesome.
more about this. I want to. Yeah, thank you so much.
It's such
for
a
this.
great
This is very helpful.
conversation, and we'll continue it in the accelerator. We've been, by the way, like what I've been talking about with Carol and David here for like the last like 40 minutes. That's what we've been talking about in our accelerator for like the last 2 months. We've been just like, okay, how do we take what we do and attract the right people to us in a business to create the kind of results that we're looking for? So
Yeah.
does anybody else have any other questions here? This is again, this is our open Q&A time as far as this goes. Would love to take your questions as far as, at least for like the next 15-20 minutes. Anybody? We were breaking down that the 6 steps, they break down to step number 1, you got to know what your niche or topic is, or what's your lane, what's your realm. What vibe do you help people with? Who do you help? How do you help them? Number 2 is it's the written sales copy. These are the words that you use to describe what you do. You get specific about one specific area that you can help people in. GPT-4, but I also use Gemini Advanced, so I kind of go between the two for AI. But GPT-4 is going to be the better one. And I like to tell it to write it in the tone of Sandy Kurkowski, which is my mom. So that helps it give me better ideas as far as that goes. Or the tone of Dan Kennedy, or the tone of Russell Brunson. As far as, Step number 3, this is going to be all of your tech stuff. So this is going to be putting together the landing page. This is going to be putting together the email list stuff as far as that goes. So, you know, people, once you figure out how you describe it, then we go into number 4 is promoting it. We want to promote it out to people. You're in my mom's stocks class every morning. That's awesome. Yeah. So the tone of Sandy Krakowski in the AI, if you tell it to write it in ChatGPT in the tone of Sandy Krakowski, because it's trained on a lot of the copy that her and I both wrote on her website, it'll come out very close to how we recommend you write copy, which is really kind of like a cheat code for a lot of people. That is such a blessing that that's there. You know, so promotion, this is going to be your Facebook ads, your organic, whether it be podcasting, whether it be SEO. Number 5, this is your sales. This is where you actually sell. This is where you exchange money. This is where you like open the doors like we have to my accelerator program. You create an opportunity for people to pay you for something. But you also got to persuade. You have to get people to buy into it mentally, emotionally. And so this step right here takes a lot of skill to do. This is something that you never really master. My mom would be the closest thing I know as a master to this. I know a lot of masters of sales. They've mentored me. I would not call myself a master at sales, but I would say I'm pretty good at it as far as that goes. And the best sales is super relaxed. You're not salesy. You're not like a used car salesman. You're not sleazy. You're not, you know, it's very authentic. You're helping people make a decision. Is this for me or is it not? I don't ever want to work with somebody that's like, I don't really feel like this is a good thing for me. It's not that I'm like, listen, I think that what I offer and what I help people with can help so many people. But my personality is not for everybody. There are people that they very strongly dislike how I show up and do things and how I communicate and how I talk and stuff like that. And like even the video game stuff and the fact that I like science fiction, or, you know, I don't like horror movies, but I enjoy somewhat psychological thriller movies. You know, I do. It's my thing. I like NASCAR. I like football. I like race cars. I like virtual reality games, and I love my wife and son. and you know, my son definitely is not going to be watching a lot of the movies or games that I play. Some of that's, you know, when he's asleep in a totally other room. But like, not everybody resonates with the fact that the way that I enjoy to spend my time outside of business is how I enjoy to spend it, watching sports. My wife loves baseball. We were literally watching baseball last night. After Halston went to sleep, and we just both sat on the couch and watched baseball for 2 hours. Like, when my wife and I were dating, we spent almost every day at the baseball stadium. So that's a way we connect. That's actually why I have this here. This was signed by one of the Kansas City Royals World Series baseball players. So what I do is I connect with these things that bring me into an experience that allows me to show up with the best possible, most effective energy that I can use to communicate the value that I offer to people. Does that make sense? And so that's exactly what we help people with in our accelerator program. We help them go through these 6 steps and then take their superpower, whatever they coach people on, and how to translate it into a coaching program or a course or a quiz or an ebook or a published book or a membership or we actually have people that have started churches. This is a very weird one. They were an author who then founded a church after they started working with me. Same thing happened with my mom, by the way. They were an author who started a church that was online, and now they literally have like thousands of people in a church that they run And it's like a non-conventional type of church that like breaks down all the walls, like the normal religious stuff, as far as that goes. It's been a very interesting thing. I find what's the difference between a coaching membership or a church? There's actually not much at the core of things. If you remove the religion from it, it's a community of people that are rallied around a common goal. So not that we're starting churches here, but we're teaching you how to start communities, how to build community that impact people to transform them into whatever it is, whether they want to become the best dog groomer, the best dog walker, or the best sales copywriter, or the best video gamer. I have a feeling we're going to start to have some there's literally video game coaches that are out there that make 7 figures. They coach you on how to get better at video games. Do you offer a class on how to use AI for sales copy for business? Yes. In our accelerator program, there's a couple of classes on that. There is the sales copy mastery for ChatGPT class. I have quite a few videos on my YouTube channel as well. During the 3-day intensive that we just did, and this is why we sold the VIP to it, because a lot of people want this. On day 3, I broke down how to use ChatGPT for that. I could even just show you real quick right now, Carol, how to like I could give you like a crash course on using AI for your sales copy. How many of y'all would want that right now?
I would.
Awesome. Let's do it. It's like, since we're here, we got 2 questions on AI. We might as well, win in Rome, right?
Yeah.
It's and by the way, that's what I love to do is it's like, okay, if I'm getting like 2 or 3 of the same type of question, and maybe I was planning on talking about one topic, let's pivot over to this topic here, and let's do that. I don't sell a course separately, but as far as my accelerator program, we do have a course on it, but let's break this down. Okay. So do you have a ChatGPT account, Carol?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Do you have a paid account?
No.
Okay. So you're going to want to have a paid account that gives you GPT-4, and they just upgraded GPT-4 like a week ago, and it's really good. It's better than it was. Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to AI world, it's like the Wild West right now. They're all competing, all these different companies with their own version of AI to be the best, most powerful, best version as far as that goes. For sales copy, ChatGPT is still the winner.
Okay.
But Google has one called Gemini that I use alongside ChatGPT. And what I do is I'll generally use both to brainstorm ideas. So Gemini Advanced is the paid version. They have a 60-day free trial of Gemini Advanced. So what I like to do is I will usually my workflow for sales copy, and what I've been showing people for the last couple of months is kind of having 2 windows open, GPT-4 and Gemini Advanced, and then sort of getting both of them to brainstorm your sales copy, because they give you this sort of like right brain, left brain, like multi-dimensional, very different version of the copy. But for me, seeing both of those together gives me a way clearer picture as to how to express what I'm looking to express, which is kind of cool. So, but if you want to use just one or the other, I would use GPT-4 by itself. Gemini will tend to be way more creative with its ideas and way less effective when it comes to sales. So it's a lot more emotional. Gemini Advanced is Google's is a lot more emotional.
Mhm.
ChatGPT is a lot more logical.
Okay.
And so I would rather your sales copy be what ChatGPT produces, because it's going to be more effective than using what Gemini uses. So hopefully that made sense as far as like why I use both versions. But if you want to just use one or the other, GPT-4 is going to give you 80% of what you're looking for. And then like the more emotional side will be from here. So let's just use GPT-4. Let's take what you do. Okay. So and what I like to do is this, when it comes to using AI, is I take on almost like a role as if I am working with somebody who doesn't speak English very well.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of people actually that like that English is not their first language. It's not even their second language. And this has taught me how to work with AI better because the words you use, you got to be very careful with what you use with the words or it'll misinterpret the intention. So what I look for is I sort of pretend like I'm talking to somebody who is in either like South Africa or the Philippines. Those are usually kind of the two that I'll aim towards. I've worked with a lot of people from both places. They're incredible people that I love, and they're so smart and genius people. But when we're translating like Americanized English, it doesn't always work. It's like there's like lost in translation, even though even South Africa, they speak English, it's like lost in translation as far as that goes. So that mindset of, okay, I'm talking to somebody who English is not their first language, just that alone will help you with using AI better.
Okay, that's a great tip.
Yeah, it's a really cool mindset to adopt. Like just being a little bit more specific, more rigid in how you talk, because it's translating some of these words differently. Okay, so I want to write sales copy for a let's see, a quiz that we can promote. Let's just do the quiz idea that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, perfect.
Through a Facebook ad to identify if people are a good fit for my so what is it? Is it coaching? Is it mentoring? Is it a class? What is it that you're doing?
Right now I'm coaching, but I'm creating a membership program. So, for my membership program.
Yeah. That photo's hilarious. Okay, so coaching program for your mentorship to help parents and teachers of toddlers toilet train. And then, okay, now we're going like through, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then give me a little bit of like the nuances as far as how you help people, 2 or 3 bullet points as far as like what the underlying messages. And this is sort of like a look under the hood. People wouldn't know this until they kind of dove in with you, but it helps the AI to kind of tune it in that direction. Like you said, the parenting side of things, the communication with the kids, stuff like that.
So your 3 bullet points on what exactly? What do I do?
Yeah, like what is what I call it, the methodology or framework that you kind of walk people through? Like if you were going through the structure and we were to like look under the hood of what you do, what would you say would be like 3 pillars of how you help people when you really kind of get into the weeds with them?
Yeah, so I help them, one, identify the problem. Try to kind of go into like the root cause or the beginning of it. So often we have to take several steps backwards before we can move forward.
Yeah. Yep. It's literally, if I was to like write down what I help people with, it's almost exactly the same words. You know?
Yeah,
Totally.
exactly.
So yeah.
And so ultimately people lost, confused, they don't know what to do, they're extremely frustrated, overwhelmed. So I basically am their support system. They're able to put the pressure on me and I do the hand holding for them and guiding them through the process.
Amazing. And the way you articulated that was brilliant. So I think that's awesome. And I think that what you do is incredible. You mentioned something about that the kids are usually like stubborn or something like that.
So
Explain that to
often
me.
saying my child's extremely intelligent and smart and stubborn. And so I would say those are number 1 things, and or I'm getting children who are on, are not speaking yet or who do not have the skills or capabilities of fine motor skills and things like that. So you kind of get a little bit of both.
Okay, cool.
Really intelligent.
That's great.
You are
Yeah.
in the beginning stages.
That's awesome. My son is obsessed with the Miss Rachel shows, and it's helped him a lot with his communication and even motor skills
Oh, that's
on
great.
YouTube. Yeah, I think it's really cool. Some of the content I watch it because it's brilliantly put together as well to learn how to create YouTube content that keeps even adults engaged. So, okay, so right here is kind of basically what you just told me. I translated. One thing you'll notice is I repeated multiple times parents and teachers of kids. Parents and teachers say, because I'm reminding the AI, even though we said it here, it's the AI is not intelligent enough to remember what I just told it 2 paragraphs ago. So, like, I have to repeat it to an annoying, like, if we were talking, if I was to write this to a person, they would probably get annoyed as to like how I redundantly repeated myself so many times, but that's what helps the AI actually work well.
Right.
So there we go. So one prompt right here, let's come up with this. And that's a framework for just drafting any number of different forms of marketing or sales copy just to describe kind of how you help and then what you actually do and then some of the underlying areas with what the issues are. Is your toddler ready for toilet training? Take our free quiz and find out. Struggle with toilet training? Feeling lost or overwhelmed? You're not alone. Whether you're a parent or teacher, a simple quiz can help you determine if you're facing deeper challenges in your toddler's development journey. Now,
So,
this might be in their face a little bit. What do you think?
but like you were talking about earlier, like how you could change the tone or how you could change so how would you take this and um make it sound like more like you?
Oh, yeah. Rewrite the above. Well, so if you want to make it sound like the way you talk, I would,
Yeah, no, I know, but just
yeah, I would have you like sort of like read this out to me like out loud and like reword some of this the way you would say it.
okay.
And then we would filter that back in and have it observe that tone of voice. So here's what's really fun is I think we can do that in real time right now. So I have this tool that it joins us while we're actually on here. It's called Otter Pilot, and it looks like, yep, it's going live. It's transcribing everything that we're saying right now in real time.
Mm.
And so you can see if I scroll to the bottom here, and I have it join me on every Zoom call that we're on. Yep, there it is. So it's on here, it's live, it's right there, it's transcribing what we're saying. So if you were to kind of take a look at this copy and sort of verbalize it out loud in the way that, say, Carol would describe this type of stuff, how would you like change what this says and like how would you describe this type of offer? What words would you use?
Um,
There's no right or wrong way to do it
yeah,
either. It's just kind of like riffing with the copy and like,
right. And I'm just trying to read and see what it says.
yeah.
No, I mean, I would say it very well does sound like me. Like, one thing that I'm always making sure I don't like to use the word potty, and it often always it starts off with toilet training and then it changes to potty.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I'm
Okay.
always being careful about that.
Did it do that here though?
No, that's what I was trying to look for.
Yeah, I don't
It's,
think it did. I think it actually kept it because we used that word. I think it kept it in that vein. So that's good.
and I also I wrote a children's book and it's called I Can Do It Toilet Learning. So I also intertwine toilet learning with toilet training.
Cool.
And that's
Very
kind of my
cool.
mission, is to be talking about what is the difference between the learning and the training.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. Okay, so yeah, so there's one way to do it. Here's how I would say reword this if I was doing this myself, and then we can
Yeah.
see what this does. So, and this just comes from me being me and being and doing this with business owners for years. As I can look at their sales copy and almost like help them recraft it better in like 5 minutes. So I would start with is your child or toddler ready for toilet training? Let's find out. Are you struggling to start toilet training? Don't know if you're ready to start? Do you feel lost, alone, confused?
Mhm.
Listen, if you're a parent or teacher, it can be frustrating to struggle in this way, and we want to make it easy for you. That's why we put together this simple quiz to dive deeper into how to help you in this all important, inevitable experience and help it happen quicker. Why take this quiz? Well, we're going to help you figure out what's going on underneath the surface. We're going to look at the root cause. What is affecting the progress? Maybe you haven't even started yet. When to start as well. We're going to personalize all of this based on your answers to guide you through the process uniquely. Because listen, every child is unique, every parent and every teacher is unique. To show you the right stuff to do at the right time. We're going to give you the structure, and we're going to save you time and stress so that it actually becomes very fun and easy for you. And so that it's not the headaches that you're experiencing right now. Why are we able to do this? Well, we've been doing this for a long time. We're going to be able to give you our expert guidance. We're going to be here to support you, to take the pressure off, and to hold your hand through the whole process. This isn't one size fits all. It's designed strategically to help the individual. And we take a step back to the beginning of what's going on to really customize something that fits you and your toddler's needs. Some of the things we address are, my child's very intelligent, but they're also kind of stubborn. They're struggling with how they communicate. Maybe they haven't developed certain motor skills yet. We take all of that into account, and we help you take that important, necessary, exciting first step forward towards the best toilet training experience that you have ever had. That's fun for you and for your children. So take this quiz. Let's jump in now. Okay, so obviously, like, maybe you wouldn't have worded it that way, but like what I did was I kind of I was wording it the way that I also know that AI would help us with that
Yeah.
as well. And so I reworded some of the way that they did this by doing that. Is there anything that I said that maybe you definitely wouldn't say it that way?
No, you said it perfectly. I mean,
Okay, cool.
it's
Awesome.
exactly like I try to make it fun, help the child, help the parent.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see. I'm putting this into a document and then copying it over here from the transcript. Okay. This is great. Let's adjust and tune it slightly to the following tone, cadence, and structure, and rewrite the sales letter based on the following to improve it and make it more effective. And then I'm going to paste what I transcribed right there into it. And now here's version 2 right here. Here's the cool thing. When we're in a coaching environment, I'm able to do this in real time with people much quicker. When you're just doing it on your own, you're kind of like going back and forth with your own like dialogue with yourself. Are you yeah, so there it is. Now it's even closer aligned sales copy to what we were talking about right here. And there's more that we would unpack with this, and this is where it kind of gets fun, where I have these prompts on this ChatGPT document here. So like over at my website, I actually have a free ChatGPT prompt download. It's a Google Doc that has all these copy and paste prompts that you can take right here.
Nice.
And so step 1 is writing a sales copy letter. But then what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll paste these in here. And I do this for all my sales letters, where I start to have it map out for me the pain points of the customer, their frustrations, uncertainty on when to start toilet training, frustration with past failures, feeling overwhelmed with conflicting advice, concern over their child's development, cost concerns, time constraints, skepticism, previous disappointments. So that's what we really want to address deeper, is some of this in your sales copy. And what's cool is that because we were able to start with a good foundation with the dialogue that we just did,
Yeah.
this gets a lot more accurate. And so this is where I put on my sort of like detective hat and like start to scrutinize the results that the AI starts to bring forth. So if you read through some of this right here, is there anything that stands out to you that is not necessarily accurate based on your experience? Or that you don't like to address, or as far as maybe doesn't fit into the lane that you help people with? Because this is where we don't want the AI kind of steering the conversation. We want to steer the artificial intelligence to
It
be more accurate.
seems quite accurate.
Okay. And that's the thing. The AI really is starting to get a lot more accurate with how it expresses things. Let's see. Desire for smoother transition, hope for bonding experience. Okay, this is where it starts to go into marketing language and how maybe like what would feel comfortable for you or not to say. Ready to leave diapers behind, discover our unique quiz that can start your success story.
Okay.
Feel like you're in a toilet training maze, transform toilet training from frustration to fun. Is stubbornness stopping your toddler? Unlock the secrets to toilet training success. Don't go about it alone. So is there anything in these headlines that maybe you don't like or doesn't resonate with you?
No, looks great.
Okay. Again, I want you to start to get like, because what's going to happen is as we go through this, you're going to find something that I think maybe you're like, that doesn't quite sound like me. And so
Right.
we really want to point that out if it comes up.
Yeah.
Any of this stuff right here. Say goodbye to toilet training troubles.
I wouldn't say the sea of strategies that don't match your child's unique.
Yeah. Yeah. Sea of strategies that where is that?
Um,
That don't match your
child's unique personality and needs.
this feels weird and awkward. How would you maybe say, like, what do they actually feel lost in? They just feel lost and overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I would just keep it simple. They feel lost and overwhelmed. Yeah. Okay. And so again, that's where like the AI starts going off the deep end a little bit.
Mhm. So this is like, you would use all these as like emails? How would you?
No. So what we're doing is we're tuning the AI and training it to create the very best foundations for our marketing language
Uh-huh.
that we use for Facebook ads, for a landing page, for headlines, to get people to sign up for an email list, to register for a quiz, to buy a course.
Got it.
And so even like if we're talking about, okay, we're going to use this for emails, that goes a step way beyond where we're at right now at this stage to craft emails and how do we actually communicate as far as that goes. So really what we're just trying to do is we're trying to get a baseline as far as the language to tune the AI to what we're looking for. So let's just put this right here. Let's simplify, keep the message clearer. Feel lost and overwhelmed every day might bring a new challenge. The advice just doesn't seem to click with your situation. So what it is there's multiple steps on this. So we have the Epiphany Bridge prompt now. And so then I paste this in here. And it starts identifying the main problem is the overwhelming and frustrating experience. The solution is a personalized quiz and coaching program that provides tailored strategies and expert advice, making toilet training more manageable. And so it creates sort of a fictional backstory about the type of person that you're looking to reach, because good sales copy really is just good storytelling.
Yeah.
So this is a fictional person that might or might not have gone through this with you. I too faced the daunting task of training my own child, like a never-ending cycle of unsuccessful attempts and mounting frustration. I spent countless hours reading books, consulting experts, or trying every strategy under the sun. Nothing seemed to fit. The turning point came when I realized the need for a more personalized approach. My deepest desire was to create a solution that would not only simplify the training but for every parent and teacher facing a similar struggle. So let's do this. And let's say I'm speaking, this is how I would, I'm speaking to an individual who's struggling with this, and they may have either started already or they haven't started. They may have done a lot of research or they haven't done any research. I'd like the copy and backstory and even be picked to attract both types of people. So, and that's where it's like, it just depends on, that's where, if we want to get specific around copy and language that attracts somebody who has done a lot of research, it would be different language than maybe somebody who's just getting started.
Yeah.
So to appeal to both parents and teachers who might be starting or their process at the beginning, I said exactly where you're standing on the brink of starting toilet training or deep in the midst of another challenging day, feeling like I was getting nowhere. Whether you poured hours into research or you're just stepping into it with no map at all, the journey can feel daunting. I remember the frustration and nagging fear of not doing enough or not doing it right. Are you ready to change the way you think about toilet training, whether you've tried everything or you're just starting out? And it goes overwhelmed. It keeps going to this whole sea of advice thing. Can you observe the tone of voice of the following text and rewrite the above epiphany, bridge, and copy based on the tone below? And I do have to get going here in just a sec because we're reaching kind of the top of our time here. We were only supposed to go for an hour, so we went past it. But there's a time when I felt just like you, wondering if it was the right moment to start toilet training or I missed something crucial that everyone else seemed to know. The advice I tried to follow felt like it was meant for somebody else's child, not mine. So what I was able to do by taking that transcript again was telling it to observe the tone and recraft it back, realign it back to that tone of voice that we were using in that sort of transcript. And so again, this is kind of like there's a few steps to this. You can go through where it generates a results generator, sales copy questionnaire. So it's creating all of this. And that's really what kind of dives deeper into using AI to create your sales copy. And that's the starting place of then we create something that attracts people with our landing page or gets people to sign up with their email address or gets them to register for that. So, all right.
All great information. Thank you for sharing all that with us.
Awesome. So, well, hey, everybody, if you're on here, I'm sure you've been seeing the ads or getting emails about our accelerator doors closing. Again, would love to have you join us in there. At least to just try it out for 30 days and work with you through your copy, your ads, the tech, the promotion and sales process to help you start to get more people on your membership or to help you to reach those goals that you have. All right. Is there any other kind of final questions before we go here? Anything you had, Carol or Claire, Kamel, Lajana? Nope. And by the way, if anybody asks any questions on Facebook, maybe you're like getting offended that I haven't responded to you. I apologize. They don't show me the questions from Facebook groups and stuff like that. So I'll have to go back later and kind of type back an answer to you. I have a lot of people, I've noticed they get upset that I don't respond to them from the Facebook groups, and it's because I don't see the questions in front of me. Helps me stay focused when we're here on the Zoom call. So, alrighty. We will see y'all a little bit later.